Hey, what is up, guys? And welcome back to another Magic the Gathering online league. We're back with Basking Broodscale on the play for game one. I will keep, and we're going to go for it. We have Broodscale, we have Saga, we have a payoff. If the opponent does have interaction, we're in a solid position. Let's see what we can do. When it goes down to 6. We have made a slight adjustment to the deck. We have added some more green sources. We were running the numbers through MTGO curve and realized there weren't enough green sources in the deck to really support the 1 mana value spells, or the Brood Scale, or the Rumble. So made some adjustments to compensate for that. Opponent keeps 6. I will. So we could go Saga, right? Alternatively, I could go Halfling and delay a turn. The main benefit of that is that we can make constructs next turn. Goes Grove, Halfling. Grove the Burn Willows. So Grove the Burn Willows, Halfling, and then we'd have Stirrings available. And let's go like that. That way, if they do interact, we at least have a little bit of a backup mid-range plan. T is a halfling. We'll pass. And the Stirrings can always find either a second Broodscale or a Blade of the Blood Chief. Blade, of course, would be ideal. Either that or maybe another payoff, even. Blue Delta, Watergrave Shock, Tamiyo. We could just force check here with K command. I do think I will do that. Ramp Exile and force check. Actually, is the reason to force check, or should we do it on upkeep instead? Upkeep would guarantee its resolution short of a spell pierce or consign. Let's go to upkeep. No attacks. K command. Do not want to let Tamiyo sit on board. Tamiyo down. We'll hold in case of a Bowmaster. You could play Besage. I don't think there's a reason not to. Undercity Sewers, Surveil, Bloodstained Mire to yard, and draw. Trigger. Second Broodscale's promising. In that case, play Besage. Ancient Stirrings. Eldrazi Temple. And I'll pass, and then make a construct. We'll keep the spawn. Paying cost, Swamp Cycle. Could be Reanimator. Swamp. I mean, if they play a Harbinger right now, I'm okay with that. Especially because we can always go for... We have redundancy, that works out. Yep, we'll take a Broodscale, Flooded Strand, and go to end step. Make a construct. Draw. I will make a construct. I think we'll just grab the Blade of the Blood Chief, play an Eldrazi Temple, equip Blade to the construct, go to combat. I could have attacked with a halfling too, but you don't want to play directly into a counterspell, so just forcing them to hold up counterspell while we beat them in the face seems a-okay by me. Six, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I mean, if we draw into an Emrakul, we can have it be uncounterable, which is nice. Sorry. One of my videos just posted, and that was not supposed to post until later. Whoops. That's my bad. They played the Swamp. Devourer. No reason to play the Devourer. We'll play the Forest to combat. Down to 6. I mean, I might as well play the Broodscale. No, there's no reason to. There really isn't. We just hold. We hold the Devourer. Sink. Sink will resolve. Shrinks the construct. That is fine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Persist. Resolves. And draw. Other halfling. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exile Troll. So this is Reanimator, we were right. Attack for 2, down to 4. That resolves to no counter spells. Bowmaster. Target construct, block with Orc Army. Yes, that is fine. Triggers. Always yield. And pass. You need to deal with the Devourer. Attacks. I'll take the 1. I guess you could ninjutsu. Sure. Ninjutsu. Take the 3. And then you'll have to stun the Devourer? Yeah, that's fine. Draw. Forest. Do you have a Spell Snare? And then equip Broodscale. Black. Fatal Push. Fatal Push resolves. I guess I could have adapted. Yeah, I probably should have. In that case, play a Halfling. Equip Blade to Halfling. Sacrifice Spawn. Trigger. Go to combat. Attack Kaido. Kaido down. And pass. So we know they have the Bowmaster in hand. Paying costs Tameo. Bowmaster in hand. Draw. Cast Haywire Might. Is casting the Haywire Might beneficial at all? Kind of, not really. So you can ping, you can double block. So in that case, Blade equipped to Halfling. Play the Might. Go to combat. I suppose you can just block Tameo, ping this, block this. Yeah. Target halfling. Block and block. Okay, so you're gonna double block. I mean, yeah, that's probably fine. We might target Blade and grow it, but that won't do too much. Okay. We'll kill the Bowmaster. Triggers. And equip it to Halfling. And pass. Attack with Tameo. Trigger. Draw a card. 0. Land 2 in hand. And Stirrings. Cast Stirrings. There's a Broodscale. Broodscale. Equip Blade. I'll deal myself 1 and adapt. Yes. Always. And we can just make this, let's say, a 20/20. And then we'll equip it to Halfling. Oh, so I meant to tap with the Carplucin rather than the Crove. Whoops. That's on me. Let's make it a 20/20. And then equip. Actually, we can equip to the Haywire Bite. Go to combat. Attack you. Block. Triggers. Re-equip. And pass. And pass. Combat, attack. Draws a card. Four in hand. I mean, if you have a Kaido, it doesn't do enough. Okay. So this is... Seems like Murktide. Win for game 1. Let's go to sideboard. Yeah, I don't know what video just posted. Which one just posted? I guess the Gruul Basking Broodscale that was supposed to be today at 3, posted at 12. Whoops. That's my bad. Well, I mean, it is what it is. It's up now. Alright. So Soul Guide Lantern, yes. Dismember, yes. Wastegate Battle Mage, maybe. We can keep all of that. We can cut some number of Devourers. Devourer's not necessarily bad in this matchup, though it is a little bit fragile. Because we do need double colorless, which can be sometimes rough. You can also go 1, 1, 2, and that should be good. Yeah, that should be fine. possible that maybe Wastecape's incorrect. Like, the benefit is that we can bounce back a... I will keep. We can bounce back, let's say, I don't know, Murktide or a Frog. But then again, we can always just exile one if we have the double colorless. Halfling definitely helps with that, and sometimes it can be hard to have double colorless underneath a Harbinger. Swamp Cycle. I guess we did see Persist. Oh, maybe we should have brought in the... Yeah. Maybe I should have brought in the... Whatchamacallit? I'm blinking so hard right now. The Grafdigger's Cage. I do want the Broodscale, but I need land, so I'm gonna go land instead. Forest. And Starian's number 2. There's the Broodscale. We'll grab the Broodscale. Clearly no forces are up. We'll pass. Frog. Draw land, bobble. In that case, rumble. Rumble for a forest. So that we have a basic. Play forest. Play blade. Pass. So blade's on board. If they tap out, we have the win. We won't block. Float. We can't block anyways. Down to 18. 7 in hand. End step. Draw. Second Besage you. Yeah, one of the downsides of running 2 of those, I suppose. We could just Wastecape, though we can't actually bounce. I guess that's true. I don't have much in the way of blue sources short of Cavernous Souls, which I only run 1 of now. Yeah, we probably shouldn't have brought in the Wastecape in retrospect. Yeah. Yeah. We could hold up K command. That's a thought. Could attempt to Vexing Bauble. Yeah, let's attempt Vexing Bauble. Does Vexing Bauble resolve? So no more force. Play Besage you, keep this one. And hold up K command X equals 2. No attacks. End step. So we can use the K command as permission. The only downside of doing it that way is the fact that we have to sacrifice the spawn. We'll take the 1, let them draw a card. See if they're willing to tap out here. The thing is that they have to... Because if we have only 3... Ooh, persist would be annoying. Okay. End step. We would need specifically an E-temp to fire this off, is the problem. Yeah, that's a bit frustrating. I'm not too worried about a force right now. What I'm worried about is counterspell. They're short on lands, though. I think we just hold. Forest. Attempt to resolve a second blade. Second blade resolves. I'll pass and hold the K command. Do you finally find a land or no? They'll float the frog. Okay. Yeah, they're just holding. Float the frog. Yep. Would really love another colorless source. Down to 12, you draw a card. You do find another land. End step. Draw. Swear. I will crack the Vexing Ball. Draw a card. Second K command, but still is a bit rough. I'll pass. Main issue is just the sheer fact that we don't have a second color source other than the spawn. Bloodstained Mire. Blue, black, Harvester. Float triggers, yield, resolves. Let's eat the consign that they're clearly holding. X equals 2. There's the consign. We'll pass. I mean, if we draw into just one more land, then we can Broodscale and win. Persist Archon. Pitch the Wasescape. Am I just dead? 9. Yeah, I'm just dead, actually. Because then they pitch 4. Yeah, okay. Loss. Yep. Yeah, so instead of Wasescape, we should have had a Grafdigger's Cage. That was completely just an oversight on my part. I'm just so used to just being able to go like, oh yeah, we can bounce with Wasescape. No, 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 no. Not to mention we're playing against Reanimator. What I get for recording 2 leagues back to back, just recording my Temur Eldrazi ramp. Oh, I don't even have... We have 1 Grafdiggers, right, not the 3. My brain is fried, clearly. Clearly is fried. Got the gemstone. Yeah, let's run it like this. That makes sense. We want the Grafdiggers in. We got the Soul Guide Lantern. No Wasescape. No Thief. Yeah. The Virus should have stayed in. Wasescape should have been out. And Grafdigger should have been in. This looks better now. I will keep... I'll reveal. Trigger. Looking for Broodscale. No Broodscale, but I think we will grab a Temple here for ramp. Forest. Halfling. Pass. And pass. Watery Grave, Shock, Fatal Push, no Fatal Push. In that case, Ancient Stirrings. Ancient Stirrings will grab Broodscale. Play Eldrazi Temple. Cast Blade of the Bloodchief. Cast Soul Guide Lantern. Unfortunately, I am forced to take something here. Consign. Why would you not consign the blade? Interesting. I'll pass. Draw. A second Broodscale is very good here. So let's see if we can get 1 on board. equip, adapt, push, polluted delta fetch. Blue, black, dress down. Okay. So the adapt trigger's still in the stack. So it gets the counter, but then nothing else happens. Okay. That is fine. And pass. If that's the major way it could interact with the current board state, then I'm actually pretty okay with that. So now I'm hoping that you feel confident knowing that you know about my Devourer. And you tap out, because if you do, then we can make this a million, right? Sink into yard, push, trigger, and draw. Bobble. Not too worried about bobble. Another Broodscale. Cost, consign. In that case, play Vexing Bobble. I will equip the halfling and pass. And pass. Right now I have access to 5, so we're 2 short of Devourer. If we draw into a temple, that'd be good. Cycle could persist here. Unfortunately, no cage. 3 Harbinger is fine. Draw. Cage. In that case, play cage. Do you have a force? If you do, we have bobble. We could cycle the bobble. And I think that might be wise here. Bobble, now that we have the cage on board. Blade. I suppose equip the blade. And pass. And pass. 2 Broodscale to yard. Bit rough. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're also short on colorless sources, so we need another halfling or a spawn. Troll, Swamp Cycle. Again, the cage is here, which is good. Frog. 2 in hand and draw. Ballista. X equals 2. Alright, I will hold Ballista. Paying cost for Tainted Indulgence. That resolves. They draw 2. And pass. Tainted Indulgence. Up to 5 in hand. So they can float the frog. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, we're a temple short. Thing is, we could Ballista the Harbinger, but does that do me any good? That I'm not sure about. Like, yeah, it grows the halfling by 2. But then what? Float the frog. We'll take the 1. Down to 17. I mean, if you draw into the temple, then we can Ballista the Harbinger, right? Otherwise, I think we just hold. Draw. Okay, well, the K command definitely pushes me in that direction. No reason to do it now, however. So I'll pass. Paying cost for indulgence. You definitely are indulging quite a lot here. Two. Okay, yeah, that's all of the indulgences. You have indulged. Black. Thoughtseize. Rude. So in that case, I will ping Harbinger. Ping Harbinger. Triggers. Always yield. Triggers. Always yield. K command. See if you have a counterspell. Imagine you do. And done. There's a consign. Thoughtseize will eat the Devourer. Yep. And push. Oofda. I mean, I guess we could have held the Ballista. They take the Devourer. I mean, I don't know. We're now at 4. Other K command would be good. Haywire Might. I will play the Haywire Might. I'll equip with the Haywire Might. And might as well equip with the Haywire Might. Not like we're going to be using the Haywire Might. I probably should have taken out the Haywire Might. Yeah, it's late. Just finished up a league. Clearly, not all here. Alright, we'll pass. Not much to do. So yeah, not looking good. Even if the Might was, what? I don't know, another Ballista or a Flesh Rake? May have been able to resolve. I'm not sure it would necessarily turn things in our favor. I mean, it's worth blocking, yeah. Triggers. Don't want you drawing more cards than you already are. Ashiok. Well, there goes Emrakul. Draw. Halfling. Equip Blade. Equip Blade. And pass. And pass. I'm not dead yet, friend. But we're definitely going to be. So top will be face up. I really don't want to give you Emperor Bones. But putting an Archon to hand, you're not going to keep that. So if I show you the Persist, show you the land, I feel like it'll take the bottom is the problem. If I show you the Archon, I mean, you're only one land short of casting it. Ooh. So I don't want to show you Archon and land. We can show you Archon, we can show you Persist. Versus Bones. Like, we don't want to give you Bones. Which one do you take? You took the bone, so you win. Yeah, because now you can Emperor Bones, exile the Archon. Yeah, that's a problem. Yeah. So, I mean, at that point, we're pretty much dead. Emperor Bones, exile the Archon. That's 6, that's 9. 10, 11, 12, plus 3. Oh, actually, ETBs as well. Oh, no, we're just dead. We're just straight up dead. Yeah. Concede. Yeah, probably could play that a little bit tighter. Sideboarding could have been a bit better, but yeah, that was going nowhere fast. Well, with that being said, we'll be back for match number 2. Alright, and we're back for match 2 on the play for game 1. I will keep. I'll reveal Devourer. Looking for a Broodscale here. And I think regardless, we're probably angling towards a Flesh Rake on 2 into K Command. We also could go K Command X2 into a Devourer, depending. Either ways, we'll start off with a E-Temp. That much is clear to me. But otherwise, hand looks pretty good. But looks like opponent might be away from keyboard, so we'll return once they are back. Alright, and we're back. We'll reveal Devourer. Let's take a peek. Show me... Okay. Interesting. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'll take the win. I'm just very, very confused. To sideboard? Run it back as is, because I have zero information whatsoever. I think my opponent... Did they concede? Like, out of the match? Maybe something came up. Maybe. They immediately mulligan to 6. I'll keep. We'll pass in full. Thinking we go Grove Stirrings into Saga, but we kind of want a Flesh Rake on 3, so maybe go Forest Saga. Forest into Blade. Yeah, that seems reasonable. Yeah, Grove Stirring, searching for Broodscale. That would be the idea. We can use Flesh Rake as bait on 3 and hold up the K command as our finisher if we find the Broodscale. That's a thought. We also could choose not to expose the blade by holding it till after we play the Flesh Rake. That's also a consideration. When we find the Broodscale, though, I think we might actually play Saga on 2. That way we can potentially grab either a Blade or a Springleaf Drum. Floodstrand Fetch, Steam Vent Shock, down 17. Red for Ragavan, okay. Draw. Well, there's the Broodscale. So in that case, the question is whether or not to play the Saga. I mean, we're kind of looking at maybe just holding for the Flesh Rake. We Saga, Flesh Rake. No, still wouldn't be enough. In that case, Grove the Burn Willows. Ancient Stirrings. Eldrazi Temple. any order and pass. So now we can Flesh Rake on 2, and we're set up for the potential win on turn 3. Yes. Thundering Falls, trigger. Keeps it on top. Ragavan hits. Down to 18. Forest, that's fine. Draw. Eldrazi tip. We'll use the Flesh Rake as bait. Pass. If it does stick on board, though, then we're in a good spot. Bolt. Okay. And pass. Ragavan hits. Down to 16. Finds Boseiju. That is also fine. 4 in hand. Arid Mesa fetch to 17. Triumph. Could be Zoo. It is Zoo. Okay. Draw. Stirrings. Cast Stirrings. There's a second Basking Broodscale. There's a K command. We can use the Basking Broodscale as bait. Cavern of Souls. Name Eldrazi. Cast Basking Broodscale. And pass. And pass. Green-red Kavu. Okay. We'll take the 6 down to 10. They have 2 in hand. Ragavan hits. Walking Ballista. Would have liked the Ballista. They could Ballista me. Or rather, more accurately, Ballista the Broodscale. Yes. We're going to have access to 5 mana next turn. So unfortunately, it's not enough to win. Draw. Devourer. So, based on this, we can't go off of the Broodscale, unfortunately. We can cast, we can adapt, we can cast, but not equip. Saga. We can play around Stubborn Denial. So ramp Exile. We'll exile the Kavu. And done. Kavu down. I will pass. We don't have to play the Blade. Go to combat. I'll block the Ragavan. That way we're not dead to a Tribal Flames. Down to 6. End step. Draw. Saga trigger. Play a forest. Well, I suppose actually I should first go Blade of the Blood Chief. Does Blade resolve? Stubborn Denial? Consign. Consign main is interesting. So we can't win this turn. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Devour of Destiny. Eat the Ragavan. Ragavan down. Devour can't be countered. Do you have a second consign? Okay, Devour resolves. Do they have a Bolt or a Tribal Flames? If so, they win. Combat to 2. No blocks. And bolt. Yep. So this is Zoo. Yeah, one of the few times where Chrysalis definitely would have helped. Alright, let's go to sideboard. So we want Soul Guide, we want Wasescape, we want Dismember, but not Thief. We can cut the Gemstone, cut Bauble, keep Might. We can cut 1, 2, 1, and cut a Devourer. That seems reasonable. And run it back like this. Okay. Alright. Well, opponent already had Consigns main. I imagine they'll bring in more Consigns. Probably Clarion Conqueror. Maybe Wear Tear. So there's Traverse, there's Saga. We're missing the Blade. Alright, we'll keep. Play Saga. Trigger, pass. And pass. We could just go for it and see if they have interaction. Grove of the Burn Willows. And pass. And pass. We have Wayscape Battle Mage as backup. So if they want to Leyline Binding it, it's fine. Red, Bolt. Figured, but worth a shot. Trigger. Float. And I will grab... Still think we grab the Blade. Play another Forest. And K command X equals 1 and scry draw. This way we have Traverse online. Another Basking Broodscale on top and draw. Pass. If they tap out, we win. We'll hold. Arena of Glory. White, red, Clarion Conqueror. That is a problem, admittedly. So in that case, pass, draw, Battle Mage. We can K-command, but it's not going to do too much. So instead we could Traverse. So I'm thinking if I Traverse 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. No, not enough. But if we Traverse for E-Temp, not next turn, but the turn after, we can go after him. I'll gain you 1, Traverse. Traverse for E-Temp. They could have... whatchamacallit. We'll play the E-Temp just in case for the Ragavan, but they could have, what am I thinking of, Charmaw. Doubtful, but it's not outside of the realm of possibility. Fetch, Wooded Foothills. I do need them to tap their blue sources. Hasting, a Sign of Draco. Alright, those are blue sources. We take 7 down to 13 and draw. So we can either get rid of the Clarion Conqueror, or we can get rid of Draco. I will kick. Unfortunately, yeah, we can either do one or the other. I guess we could use K-Command as permission, but we really need to get rid of the Clarion Conqueror. Always yield. Do you have a consign? You have a consign. Yep. So in that case, that's all we can do this turn. I guess we could play the Broodscale. So, okay, there's a thought here. I'm going to play the Broodscale. This is a bit of bait, but it also is to test if they have any removal. I'll pass. Fledged Strand, 3 in hand. Lush Port. And 7 down to 6. Passing. Draw. Land. I mean, if we K-command the Conqueror, we just win. Not necessarily, actually. So we can K-command the Conqueror for X equals 3. That would allow me to equip and then potentially go off. We can have the Ancient Stirrings. If we Wayscape and they have a consign, we die. If they don't and they have a bolt, we die. However, if they have a bolt, they can hit the Basking Broodscale, and then we're still at 2. A lot of ifs here. Jesus. Let's start with a Stirrings in that case. Devourer. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We could Cavernous Souls, but Cavernous Souls doesn't stop much. Ballista. I mean, if they have Bolt, they win. If they have Consign, they win. It doesn't matter either way, so let's go for the win then. Ramp and Exile. Target Clarion Conqueror. Counter Magic, you win. Three in hand. Did we get there? I mean, they have access to so much here. Bolt, Leyline Binding, Consign, Stubborn Denial. If they have none of that, I will be shocked. Holy hell. Trigger. Yep, there's the binding. So, we have another turn to potentially win. If I don't die here, we have the Wayscape. Down to 2. Do you have a Bolt, Tribal Flames, or Flage? Damn. Alright. Well, it is what it is. Well, in that case, we'll be back for match 3. Alright, and we're back for match 3. On the play for game 1. Let's take a look. That's awkward. So any land will do. We have 23. So 21 hits off the top. I mean, yeah, we'll keep it. Opponent goes down to 6. Best card off the top will definitely be a E-Temp. Second best card off the top would be a green source. Actually, maybe best card off the top is a green source. So I'm gonna trigger, pass. And pass. Dark Shores, and pass. Draw, trigger. So what I can do then is we can cycle the K command. Not my favorite thing, but it's something we can do. I will do it now. And the reason being is that there's fewer things that can counter it, specifically a spell snare. There's our green source, perfect. Okay. We will need... I guess now this raises a question. Do we go Flesh Rake or do we go Rumble? Probably Flesh Rake. Shock. Draw. Triggers. Float. Search. I guess we don't have to go for Blade actually. We can go for Springleaf. Springleaf might be right. Springleaf. Trigger. Forest. Now, we could either A, Flesh Rake, or B, make a construct then traverse for a land. That actually might be right. Construct. Because that's not interactable. And if they want to counter traverse, be my guest. Traverse. For an Eldrazi temp. At that point, I'll pass. So we have access to 2, 3, 4, 5 mana. Bowmaster. Target me, down to 19. 5 types in Yard. So probably more Murktide based on the Bowmast. We'll take 2 down to 17. Or not. Draw. Trigger. Float. Blade of the Blood Chief. Attempt to resolve Glaring Flesh Rake. Flesh Rake resolves. That's surprising. Attempt to resolve Malevolent Rumble. Tap the Glaring Flesh Rake. For a Basking Broodscale. And we have a second Broodscale. Flesh Rake will trigger. And I'll hold in case they have another Bowmast. No attacks, we'll just set up blocks. Blue, consider. Darkslick Shores to Yard, draws a card. Flooded Strand. And passing. Draw. Beseiju. Play Beseiju. So in this case, let's start off with Broodscale. Triggers. Counterspell. Resolves. Counterspell. Basking Broodscale. Triggers. Do you have a Spell Snare? No Spell Snare. Tap Broodscale. Equip Broodscale. Do you have a Fatal Push? Fetch. Watery Grave, shock to 11. Fatal Push. Yep. Push resolves. Always yield. Go to combat. Swing at you for 3. Blocks. Triggers. Second main. Second flush break. And at this point, we'll pass in full. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So we have 14 mana for next turn for Emrakul. And that should be enough, I'd imagine. It is a Murktide. So unless you play Consign main, you're in trouble. And draw. Confirming how many we have in hand. I mean, Broodscale's 1. So 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Broodscale's 1, yes. So in that case, Broodscale. Triggers. 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 I guess actually Broodscale's mana neutral, now that I realize that. Yeah, that's right. Attempt to equip. Fatal Push. That will resolve. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Float for white. Push resolves. Tis an Emrakul. And that's the game. So this is Murktide. Win for game 1. Alright, let's run it back. So Vexing Bobble's fine, Haywire Mite's not, Soul Guide in, Wayscape no, Dismember yes. So, I mean, we could just go cut Ballista, cut Flesh Ray, keep Devourer. That seems reasonable. We don't need Grafdigger's Haywire, Pithine, Dam Sphere, Thief, no, Fire Spout, no, Clarion Flesh Ray. Yeah, this is good. Okay, let's run it back. But we'll bring in Consigns, Harbinger, and that's probably going to be it. So we could turn 1 Stirrings, but it might be better to E-Temp in case we draw into an E-Temp. Yeah, we draw into a halfling, then we turn 1 halfling. Tapped Watery Grave. Draw. Flesh Rake. Well, in that case, I'm thinking we could force check. But I still think we go E-Temp, pass. Because then I'm thinking instead we go Saga, that we can start making constructs. Yeah. Draw. Cavernous Souls. Cavernous Souls instead to play around the counterspell they're holding. Flesh Rake. Pass. Black, black, Bowmass. Bowmass target me. 19. Yep. If they attack, it's bait because then they want to push. They have a Marsh Flats. They don't need the bait. No attacks. End step, draw. Glaring Flesh Rake number 2. Yeah, I do want to get the Saga on board because if they then Harbinger, it at least can make colorless, which is relevant. So, white. Flesh Rake number 2. No Fatal Push in hand. And that is what that tells me. Alright, we'll pass. We might just kill them with Flesh Rake alone. Marsh Flats fetch. 17. Undersea Sewer, Surveil, looking for answers to the current board state. Consign, yep, not going to be as good right now. Polluted Delta. 5 in hand, fetched, you have a push. Undercity Sewers, again looking for answers. Could also be trying to land a Murktide. Nope, no Murktide. If you attack, you don't have push, but you could have Bowmaster, so we're not going to take the bait. We'll take the 2 if you do. And opponent has conceded. Alright, we'll take the win. Not bad at all. We'll be back for match number 4. Alright, we're back for match 4. On the draw for game 1. I will keep, I will pass. So there's 2 thoughts here. We can go Boseiju into Ancient Stirrings, or we can go Saga. I'm kind of tempted to go Boseiju, Ancient Stirring, set up for the Saga in case we need constructs. This looks like Zoo. Maybe not. Mishra's Bauble, target me. Interesting. Cutter? Could be Cutter, could be Wizards. Draw. E-Temp. E-Temp's good. We like E-Temp. Now we could even play the E-Temp in case we draw into an E-Temp for the K command. Yeah, that would make sense. So we'll go E-Temp, we'll pass. I guess, actually, I'll play the Haywire Might and pass. No reason not to play the Might here. Pass. Bauble. Could also be Prowess. Does Prowess play Spellsnare main? I don't think so. Tameo. So, unless they play Consign, we could K command X equals 1. There's Blade. Interesting. Saga Trigger. K command X equals 1. Let's see if you play Consign main. Oh, I need to ramp Exile. If this resolves, we do have a setup for a win next turn, I believe. Done. Tameo down. Tameo down, attack for 1. Because, yeah, we can Boseiju, we can Broodscale, Blade, Consider, Resolves. Yeah, so this would be a lethal line next turn. Because we just need 2, 3, 4, which we have. 1, 2, 3. No, we're actually short 1. We are short 1. Damn. Oh no, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, we are. Never mind. Never mind. Bloodstrand fetch. I might just make a construct there and call today. Watery Graves, a Grixis control. Blue-black, frog. That is fine. Red. Ragavan. I mean, they're tapped down. Interesting. Huh. If I draw into another payout, we can win. Or a Springleaf payout? Springleaf, yeah. Rumble. Rumble doesn't get me there. So I want to proceed. We of course can make a construct. Sure. It'd be a 2/2 so we can block the Ragavan. That's fine. We could Ancient Stirrings, we could Rumble. Played with Seiju. I think we just hold up for the construct and hope they tap out again. I think that's the best thing we can do. Damn. I mean, the alternative is that we make an infinitely big Broodscale and then say, okay, cool, can you deal with this? If not, we win. My main thought would be a Sink in the Stupor, but they play black, so it's possible that they play push is the only problem. So I think I'll just hold for the Saga. And hope they tap down next turn. Imagine they float the frog. Four in hand. The fact that they tap for the Ragavan kind of tells me they don't have a bolt at least. Yeah, so no bolt. Attack, no float. Okay, so you do float. Float, yep. It's for 1. Not much I can do about that. Pitches a Spell Snare. Interesting. They should have held that for the Broodscale. Then raise the question of what else do they have accessible to them. I mean, we could just threaten them with constructs and call it a day. That is a genuine consideration. Surveil, draw a card. So black's down, no push. Unholy Heat to grave. That's a ton of interaction. They're just pushing to the side. Why? 3 in hand. We'll take the 2, down to 18. They draw a card, 4 in hand. Do they tap out? If they tap out, we win. I guess they could have a subtlety, admittedly. Pitches a card. Murktide? Really? There's the Murktide. Do you have a land? No land? End step. Make a construct. Saga trigger. Float. We play Blade, so that way we play around Force. It'd be the last two cards in their hand, right? Blade. No, I guess... Actually, Bobble might be better because it plays around both Subtlety and Force. Let me think here for a second. We have access to 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, Bobble would be best. Because we cast equipped, so Bobble. Saga trigger. Broodscale. Blade. Equip Blade to Broodscale. Trigger. Always yield. I have Ballista. Always yes, always yield. I'll just do this to show them that I have the Ballista. Alright, well, if they want to continue, we can. Actually, it would be probably smart every 4 just do this. Alright, well, we'll be here until I get to 14, I suppose. And I should have stopped at 4, right. Otherwise we have to click. Ugh. Again, I'm just missing the opportunity. And again. And 4. So I guess I theoretically could make my life a little bit easier by doing this. Triggering, equipping. Ping, trigger. Ping 8 times. I guess I should have sacked it one more time because now I don't have enough mana, for God's sake. I just want to make this a bit quicker so we're not just sitting here staring at each other. But now I actually don't have the lethal line unless I sacrifice the Ballista. Actually, no, we're fine. Because I can now equip. Yep. And then go to combat. Attack for 6. Down to 8. Ping my own Haywire Might. Triggers. Just trying to make this go by slightly quicker. And 4. And 4. almost there, opponent. I was hoping that if I show them I had the ballista, they would just concede, but clearly that was not the case. So now what I can do is I can just equip to ballista, sacrifice, trigger, remove target you, remove target you, again. And a off chance it's relevant. Okay. So this is Murktide again, win for game 1. Oh, so did I label the first one as Murktide? The first one was Reanimator, wasn't it? Reanimator, not Murktide. Okie dokie. So we bring in the Soul Guide, we cut the Haywire Mite, we bring in Dismember, and cut Ballista, Flesh Rake, and run it back. Okay. I'm glad I realized that the Bauble would let me play around both Force and Subtlety on the off chance they played it. So I guess this Grixis Murktide or Grixis Control? Not sure. Yeah, I'd say probably still Murktide just because it is the big beater. This is the last video I'll be recording until Wednesday night. Unfortunately, I've been trying to record 2 videos a night, and then I forget what night it was. The league did not go well, and it was like 3 a.m. in the morning. I was like, nope, I'm done, calling it. I was like, maybe I'll record 3 on Saturday. Not happening. So I'll be recording 1 video when I return from my flight Wednesday at midnight. So that way there's a video on Thursday. Either that or I'll take Thursday off of work. Except I have to be there on Thursday. I have something I need to do on Thursday. I guess I can record for like the beginning of the day. We'll figure it out. Okay, so green sources. 2, 5, 9, 13. 13 plus 4. I mean, 17 hits, 2 draws, we'll keep. We'll pass. In worst comes to worst, we eat K command X equals 1 on turn 2. Ragavan. Darn monkey. Yep. And draw. Of course, the opponent's going to hit either a green source or a E-temp off the top. Guaranteed. I'll say with the K command, the second K command in hand, I'm tempted to cycle. Flooded Strand, yep. Ragavan will hit. And Blade. Well, I would have liked that too, to be fair. But kind of not right now, I suppose. Flooded Strand fetch. For Watery Grave Shock. Tease the Froge. No? Interesting. Oh, Tamio. Yep, that's fine. End step. I'm going to cycle the K command, see if you counter it. I mean, this is clearly a desperation play. And done. Consign or counterspell? Consign. 3 in hand, okay. Draw. Springleaf Drum. Saga Trigger. So we can make that work. We want to ramp an Exile. I'm going to get rid of this Ragavan. As much as I want to get rid of the Tamiyo, I think getting rid of the Ragavan's correct here, because that thing will just spiral out of control. Force check or another consign. You do not have either. That works out in my favor. 2 types in yard. I'd love a land off top. 3 in hand. Tamiyo attacks. Yep. We need to make sure Tamiyo doesn't flip, though, because if Tamiyo does flip, then they're going to be able to bring back these consigns. I guess I should hold up in case of a Bowmaster. Yeah, that is true. Misty Rainforest fetch. Steam Vents. Shock to 12. Small Murktide. Crack a Clue. Draw. End step. Draw. Devourer. Saga Trigger. In that case, Springleaf Drum. Green. Ancient Stirrings. Land. Forest. Traverse, or not traverse, Basking Broodscale. It resolves. That's surprising. Alright, I mean we can get played next turn. Bolt. Unholy, yep, that's fine. So no counter spells, but interaction. That's okay by me. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Land would be 7 for Devourer. That's a consideration. Attack of Tamiyo. Again, I should hold in case of a Bowmaster. I need to remember that. Blue. Or not. 3 in hand, Misty Rainforest fetch to 11. Consider their options. Keeps it on top. Flips Tamiyo. Tamiyo flips. I guess we could have gone Pithy Needle as well for Tamiyo. It's as a consideration. We also could Soul Guide Lantern here. Yeah, that is a thought. Draw. Trigger. Float. Four in hand. I'm gonna go Soul Guide Lantern. Soul Guide Lantern eats Consign to Memory. Yeah. Plays a forest. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I think we Devour. Devour target Tamiyo. Tamiyo down. No counter magic? That's huge. 5. I'm going to wipe yard. No Murktide, please. 5 in hand. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We're short one of Emrakul. Bauble. Bauble target itself, so they have a fetch in hand. And they do. They want whatever's on top, though. So we'll draw first. And draw. Second Broodscale. Go to combat. Swing for 6. Consider their options. Keeps it on top, draws. Do you have unconditional removal? Consider their options. Drops sink in the stupor. They could have bounced, theoretically. Polluted Delta fetch down to 10. Undercity Sewers. Surveil. Drops an Unholy Heat. Down to 4. Basking Broodscale. Resolves. I guess actually we can tap for green, adapt. Bolt, that's fine. Traverse the Uvenwall. Two, 3, 4, 5. Emrakul, the Promised End. And pass. So I just need a land. I guess they could have brought in, whatchamacallit, the heal Spellbomb. Down to 3. Surveil. And opponent scoops it up. We'll take the win. Alright, trying to rally back for a 3-2 at the end of 5. With that being said, we'll be back for match 5. Alright, and we're back for match 5. On the draw for game 1, I will keep. I will reveal Gemstone, Exile, and pass. Let's see if we can find the Broodscale. Misty Rainforest, fetch. 19, Forest, Utopia Sprawl, Blade. Well, ain't that something. Trigger. Vexing Bobble's a redraw. Saga doesn't do me much good. We also could just drop all. Better than the redraw, most likely. And shout out to GGLove357. They just let me know that they watched the video, so appreciate you for watching. If you are watching this one, hopefully it's an interesting match to look back on. So we're going to pitch all. Finds another Devourer. So what I'll do then is cast Halfling, play Grove, Blade, and pass. What I think I'll do is Ballista equip Blade, basically testing active player, non-active player. So K command out, chooses Chrysalis. Chrysalis is fine. Draw. Rumble. In that case, green, colorless, rumble. With second ballista, I'm thinking Saga here. So in that case, Saga trigger, ballista, equip blade, triggers. That's theirs until the turn. And mine always yield. Yeah, I wish we had that traverse now. So they sacrifice spawn, ballista grows. So now it comes to active player, non-active player. Because they could play the Chrysalis theoretically. They'll grow my ballista though. They always could K command, X equals 0, go after my ballista. That's also an option. But I'm going to start pressuring the board with constructs. We do have Haywire Might mains, so we can go after their blade with Haywire Might if Saga gets to that point. That is a consideration. Grove. So again, they could Writhing Chris. Opponent's gonna pass, probably holding up a K command would be my guess. Draw. Ancient Stirrings. Cast Ancient Stirrings. There is Broodscale. Cavernous Souls. Name Eldrazi. And opponent's gonna scoop. Alright, we'll take it. Now, to be fair, I actually can't win in this exact moment, but it's possible they may have had 0 interaction. But I'll take it regardless. Basking Broodscale, win for game 1. I think they probably should have held there, because, like, at most, we Basking Broodscale, we equip Blade, right? And then pass. And basically say, if you sack a spawn at any point, I win. Either that, or we just hold for constructs. Maybe go for the might. That way we can might for our trigger instead. Yeah. Regardless, we'll take the W. So let's see here. We want Wastecape Battle Mage. We want Soul Guide Lantern. We want Dismember. We want Thief. We can cut the bauble, keep the might, go 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so really playing the interaction game plan. Let's do that. There is an argument, of course, for bringing like Fire Spout, so on. When you cut the gemstone, do we bring in Devourer, or do we bring in a Ballista? That I'm not sure about. And you have the gemstone again. $22 lands. And yeah, we'll keep gemstone. Pitch, Wayscape. Pass. Show me a land. Yeah, that's the good old 11% 2 times in a row. Gotta love it. Draw. Dismember. Bit rough. Halfling. Basically, that'll act as a turn 1. Halfling is ramp, so more or less just our normal turn. Pass. And pass. Again, would love a land off top. Would love to see a Saga, funny enough. Any land actually will be good, because now we can wastegate it. Rumble. Rumble. I imagine you take the Flush Rake. Yep, that makes sense to me. Land. Land. Perfect. Wastegate. Kick. And pass. I'll set him back a land. And take him off of Blade. And pass. It was a risky hand, but it's starting to work out. We do need a color source for the K command. Stirrings. Stirrings looking for a land. I imagine probably an E-temp would be best for you. If you do sack the spawn for Flesh Rake, we will dismember the Flesh Rake. K command. Okay. I mean, right now that's a dead card. Unless you have a colorless source here. Okay, so not dead. You could cycle it. Draw. Broodscale. So I'm thinking we start with Soul Guide Lantern. I will get rid of K command. We can cast the Broodscale, but we can't hold up Dismember. There is a slight concern there. So I think we'll hold the Dismember. I think that's the right play. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'll attack the Wastegate Battle Mage. Do we attack with a Delighted Halfling, though? Tempted to. I think I'll hold. In case we want to crack the Soul Guide the draw? Yeah, I suppose. Down to 17. I'll hold the Dismember. Do you Flesh Rake? You also could just Saga Trigger. Okay, so I would like another Wastegate. You do have a K command X equals 2 now. That is a consideration. Pain cost 4. K command. I'll float. X equals 1. Phase change. I'm going to draw a card then. Saga. That's promising. I'll hold. And draw. Malevolent Rumble. Saga Trigger. Rumble. Basking Broodscale, Beseiju. Beseiju's tempting. We already have 2 Broodscales, so I don't think we need any additional redundancy. Thief of Existence is also tempting for obvious reasons. But Thief is sorcery speed, where Beseiju is not. Beseiju's a land as well, just in case. We will grab the Beseiju. We will be able to hold the Beseiju up as well. So in that case, I think we just hold. And I will attack with Wastegate again. Saga. Yep. Another Saga. 5 in hand, 4 unknown. They did use the K command a bit aggressively though, which I'm a fan of, because if we can resolve the Broodscale next turn and hold up interaction, we're in a good position. But it feels like they might have another K command in hand. It's looking like it. Draw. Trigger. Ballista. In that case, green, colorless, hold up Beseiju. And pass. We could attack with Wasescape. They don't have any other artifacts, so that's fine. Yep. You can make a construct to block, but you don't. We have Dismember. We have Beseiju. You make a construct. Okay. I feel like if you had the K command, you would have used it. So now you could Beseiju, or not Beseiju, you could Pithy Needle name Beseiju, theoretically, if you brought in Pithy Needle. I personally am not a fan of bringing in Pithy Needle in the matchup, but something you could do. There's Blade. Okay. So we can Beseiju Blade. Another option is we have Dismember. Green. Basking Broodscale. Equip. I will Dismember. The Beseiju is a bit of bait. Triggers. Ancient Stirrings, digging. For a Broodscale. You can play the Broodscale, you can equip, but you can't do anything else. Now that is a theoretical decent option. But then again, I also have Ballista, I have Beseiju, I have K command, and a spawn on board ready. So they're gonna hold. They can attack for 2 if they want. Draw. Trigger. Drawing a force is decent. Yes. Blade. Blade equip. Forest. So we can adapt. GG's. Yeah, so I think it's right for us to adapt first, and then, because we've learned this lesson, right? If we have it equipped, you always adapt. That way you always have the ability to sack if they respond to the adapt trigger. But we got there. GG's, GG love. Always fun running into someone who's part of the community. It's always an... I can't describe the feeling. It just is very unique. It's very surreal, like, oh, people know who I am. Not sure if that's a good thing, not sure if that's a bad thing, not sure if it's somewhere in between, but people know who I am. But it is cool that people use my content to learn or get better with the decks, whereas we adapt the decks and test new things and go, okay, this is working, this is not. Oh, look, we're short on green sources. We should be up on green sources. Let's do that, etc., right? There's a lot of cool things that come from interacting with community members. So it's always a pleasure. I appreciate when you guys chat me or send a chat message and either compliment the videos or just say hi. It's always a really cool experience. So I appreciate you all for doing so, and appreciate you, GG Love, as well. And again, GG's. But with that being said, that there will be the end of today's video with a 3-2 record at the end of 5. So again, another solid result from Basking Broodscale. I definitely felt like I noticed having more green sources. I think it was very much noticeable. Obviously, really hard to say in any quantifiable way, but it felt more reliable. Devourer felt fantastic. even without Devourer necessarily being castable as often as I would like, it being a Once Upon a Time, it's fantastic. The reason why we're on Devourer now, I'm not sure I talked about it, but the reason why we're on Devourer now is Writhing Chrysalis, TKS, and Sephiroth, all of our kind of mid-range cards. Yeah, they've been falling kind of flat. They're not bad. It's really interesting. So, like, Writhing Chrysalis performs better pre-board in game 1. Performs worse post-board in games 2 and 3. Makes sense because I can sign, right? Sephiroth performs worse pre-board, but performs better post-board because it can sign, because it can't be consigned. Okay. TKS, a little bit more even, but definitely better pre-board and worse post-board. Can you guess why? Consign. So it's really interesting to look at that and go, huh, none of these are great. They're just kind of okay. And so we are kind of looking at it going, well, what else can we do? So we at first were looking at Ugin's Lab, the Ugin's Lab version, and then I went, do we have enough green sources to make this work? The answer was no. Like recently we looked at that and went, oh, how do we make this work? And the other option was, I guess we could cut 2 Ugin Lab and only run 2, and then run 4 Devourers and Emrakul, maybe some number of Sires and Ugin, yada yada yada. And then I was like, well, what if we just update the Halfling version, because Halfling's fantastic. In the opening hand, Halfling is prime. It's cast data a little bit iffy, but makes sense because when you cast it later in the game, and it's just a 1/2, right? Whereas in the opening hand, it's fantastic because it ramps you into, Wasescape, into Glaring Fleshrake, into Broodscale, etc. So I was like, well, let's just update the list that have 13 green sources main and see how that goes. And like I said, it's hard to say whether or not I noticed the difference. And it could also be bias because I'm like, oh, well, I'm performing well, so that must be the change. And you've only played 5 matches, a total of, 12 games? So there's no real way that, I'm noticing a difference. But we can see that in our opening hand data over time. If I'm mulliganing less, if we're able to cast Halfling on turn 1 more, if I'm able to cast Malevolent Rumble on turn 2 more, Basking Broodscale, etc., right? We'll notice that through trends eventually, but we'll definitely require a lot of data. And then, of course, Devourer of Destiny, we're testing that over the mid-range cards, as I mentioned earlier. Does have a little bit of a non-bow at times with Halfling, but we'll ignore that. Regardless, though, that there will be the end of today's video. As I mentioned, all my videos for the next few days are pre-recorded, though I guess this is going to be the last video. So all the videos that you watched over the last few days have been pre-recorded because I'm away for a business trip. So there's that. I'll be back recording more for Thursday, so there shouldn't be a gap in videos, but if I'm dead to the world Wednesday night, quote unquote, midnight when I return, or Thursday morning if I choose not to work that day, maybe there might not be a video on Thursday at 3 p.m. We'll see. It might at the very least be a little bit delayed. I'll figure it out. Regardless, though, hopefully you guys have enjoyed all the pre-recorded videos, especially the one that went up tonight at midnight because I must have not put in the right time. RIP. Regardless, though, I mean, Eldrazi Ramp's playing well, Broodscale's playing well. I think I might try some Eldrazi-tron. I've been keeping an eye on the Eldrazi-tron Discord, and it seems to be performing well, which is weird. And I say that in all seriousness. I find it weird, because Blink is not at an insignificant meta share. What's Blink at right now? Across 30 days. Blink right now is at 6.2 for the Esper version and 2.8 for the Orzhov version. So a total of 9% of the meta is Blink. I'm dumbfounded that Tron is making a comeback. when if I look at popular cards for Modern, top creatures, view more, is White Orchid Phantom on the list. It's 26th at 7% at 2.8 cards or copies on average. That's not a lot, but I feel like if we see Tron go up, then we'll see Blood Moon, Charmaw, Harbinger, White Orchid Phantom, all of those go up as well. So I'm a little bit skeptical, but it seems to be performing well. Hasn't had a lot of conversions and challenges, but it seems generally to be performing well. So you might also test Tron. We might add that to the mix. So we'd be doing a rotation of Eldrazi Ramp, Broodscale, Tron. Maybe we'll just throw in Eldrazi aggro at that point. Have like a 4-deck rotation. And then on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, which are normally my challenge days, I kind of pick whatever. Maybe we'll do that. That's an idea. Okay. Well, that's for me to think about for next week. But with that being said, let me know in the comments what you guys think. I'll end my idle prattling at that point. So as always, if you did enjoy the video, please do consider hitting the like button. Comment down below if you did see any lines that I missed, any mistakes that I made, or any general feedback. It'd be much appreciated. For as much that I hope that you all learn from me and with my success and failures, I hope I can learn from you all as well. Last but not least, if you have reached the point in the video and haven't already, please do consider hitting the subscribe button. We're getting closer and closer to our next goal of 1,000 subscribers, at which point I'll be able to start monetizing these videos, allow me to save up towards a streaming PC so I can stream live over on Twitch. In the meantime though, if you do want to support me monetarily, you can do so over my Patreon, where you can get early access to my 2 videos, as well as any updates I make to my deck guides. With that being said though folks, I will see y'all next time. Bye-bye!